You know what we've been doing. We've been talking about different positions coming since we've returning guys since we had the draft. The camps and all that stuff are starting up soon. The spring games have already happened. We are here, so we're working on all this stuff. We talked about the quarterback, running back, wide receivers, and tight end, all the skill position players. But to my guy's chagrin, we're talking about what he loves, the position he played, and we're talking about those returning top 5 offensive tackles in 2023. As we've seen this year, a number of big name offensive tackles were taken in the draft. And we know how important that position is. Alex, talk to us about this position coming back this year after all those guys left, and kind of does this live up to it? And where do we go?
Yeah, so this is an interesting class here because, like you said, so many big name guys left, and there's still a couple big time names sitting here. But from 3 to about 12, 13, 14, there's a lot of unproven guys that are really good college football guys, but we don't know what they'll be NFL prospect-wise. Right. So there's going to be a lot of movement in this list. I feel like 1 and 2 are pretty set as 1 and 2. Like, I don't think they'll move either spot. But after that, it's all up for the taking. And there's some guys that are, if you look at, for example, Big Game Boomers list, there's guys listed in the 20s and 30s that could very well be in that 3 to 10 range by the end of the season. There's that many good tackles that we don't really know how to place these guys yet.
Right. Man, yeah, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see who comes out and who are the guys that are moving up. And now another thing, I don't know for mostly, but not all these guys aren't all seniors. Kind of like how we did with the tight ends and all that stuff, right? Like, these guys have a couple years.
Yeah, there's some of these guys that have a few years. I mean, there's some guys, Joe Alt, Olu Fashanu, that even if they're juniors, they're gone. There's no chance they stay next year. They're that good. They're gone. But there's, especially higher up on the list, there's a lot of sophomores, juniors that have that potential to come back.
Right. So we'll definitely see. Talk to me. Start off, who is your top 5 returning offensive tackles in 2023?
All right. My number 5, I've got Graham Barton from Duke. He's a guy that, as I was watching Riley Leonard a bit more, I just kind of started to notice this guy, or how little I wasn't noticing him, which, as watching the offensive lineman on tape, that's a good thing. If you're not really noticing them, unless it's like pancakes, that kind of stuff, if you're getting those open lanes for the running backs, if you're getting a clean pocket for the quarterback, that's what you want to see from these guys. And Graham Barton is just a solid all-around guy. Solid pass blocker, really good run blocker. And I think he'll be a really, really good asset for Riley Leonard this year, and that Duke offense in general. Number 4, I hope I don't butcher his name. I got Sateoa Laumea from Utah. Again, another really good guy, Cam Rising. He's got a really solid protector on that edge. Allows him to kind of not worry about what's going on to that side of the field as it pertains to pass rushers, and he can just kind of focus on the receivers. Very, very solid pass blocker. I haven't seen too much of his run blocking. I got to watch some more tape on him from that aspect, but one of the best pass blockers in college football, at least going into this year. I really like what I see from him. Number 3, Kelvin Banks Jr. There's kind of
Texas.
There's a trending topic here. A lot of top quarterbacks, top tackles.
Yep.
This is no different. Quinn Ewers, Kelvin Banks, very good duo, and pretty much everything I've said about these last 2 you can paste in. This is where that kind of second tier ends and this first tier really begins, because it's 1 and 2 are widely separated from the rest. Number 2 for me is Olu Fashanu. I talked about him. I did one of the lineman spotlights on him. thinking he was going pro last year, and he ended up coming back, which honestly, looking at how those tackles went, was a pretty good idea. Yeah. He's very raw, but still elite. He's a solid pass blocker. Could improve a little bit in the run game, but just an elite prospect. I feel like he's going to solidify himself as that number 2 guy as the year goes on here. But number 1 and way ahead of Fashanu, even from 1 to 2 is a big gap. It's Joe Alt from Notre Dame. Yep. This guy, even with the 2 quarterbacks, even with Marvin Harrison Jr., Brock Bowers, those kind of guys, I would essentially throw him as a lock to be gone before 6, 7, 8. Ooh, wow. He's that good for me. This is day 1 franchise left tackle for me. Yep. If you're looking at NFL, he can do it all. He's elite at everything. I mean, Notre Dame always produces these good offensive linemen. Joe Alt is no exception. Prospect wise, I have him up there with the Zach Martins and Quentin Nelsons. To me, he's that good. So far and away the number 1, and probably far and away the number 1 offensive lineman in general this year. Oh yeah,
I believe it. I mean, hey, he's well talked about, and you've seen it. Like you said, like he hasn't really had a quarterback really solid, but he's been protected, and he's actually helped that team. We've seen, kind of what that team's been able to do. My 1 and 2 are similar to you. Joe Alt, obviously, at Notre Dame, and then Olashanu. Say it for me again, man.
Oh, I shortened the first name. I went Olu and then Fashanu.
Olu Fashanu. There we go. Yeah. I was like, you said it so well. Oh, I get it now. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, those 2 definitely separate themselves from the pack. Love what you did with Kelvin Banks Jr. at 3. I would move. I'm gonna move him down 1 because of Sateo Lamua at 3. I'm gonna put him there. My 5 is Jonah Monheim from USC.
Oh, USC, yeah, I like him.
He had, I think he led the nation where he had 570 pass protection snaps without a QB hit, without a QB sack.
He was very, very good in pass pro last year.
Right, and with that kind of quarterback and that kind of passing offense, he's getting tested a lot. So I definitely think he's up there. I'm eager to see how he gets down in the run game, but with how that passing offense does, I mean, I think that definitely fits. And you talk about line and the adjoining quarterback, so that definitely is right along the line.